Alright, this is from section 9.1, the extra example that was on page 402, which is number 29, about tattoo attitude. This is at the very bottom of the first handout for chapter 9. There it is. It says a Harris County interactive poll conducted during January 2008 found that 944 of 1,748 adult Americans 18 years or older who do not have a tattoo believe that individuals with tattoos are more rebellious. So the important information here is that it was 944 out of 1,748. So we just make a note, X is 944, N is 1,748. Part A, obtain a point estimate for the proportion of adult Americans without tattoos who believe those with tattoos are more rebellious. So part A, your point estimate is your P hat, because we're talking about proportions. And so that would be 944 divided by 1748, which if we round should give us 0.54. And that's it. That's your point estimate. Part B says verify that the requirements for constructing a confidence interval for P are satisfied. What we have to do here is do the two checks. We have to make sure that our sample is less than 5% of our population, and that N times P times 1 minus P is greater than or equal to 10. So our sample is 1,748. And we need to make sure that that is less than 5% of the population of adult Americans without tattoos. And there's nothing to do here. We just have to verify that that is true, and you can just put a check mark there. The other one is an actual calculation. N times P, which is 0.54, times 1 minus P, which is 0.46. If you crunch those numbers, you should get 434.2032. And as long as that is greater than or equal to 10, which it is, you can put your check mark. So with those two conditions satisfied, we can say that this is considered normal, and we can use our steps for constructing a confidence interval. So part C, we've done part A, part B. Part C says construct a 90% confidence interval for the proportion of adult Americans without tattoos who believe those with tattoos are more rebellious. So 90% confidence. We need to either calculate or remember the critical value, Z star, which we wrote down on the front page of these notes. It is 1.645. Alpha here is 0.10. You take half of that, which is 0.05, and if you're not sure, it's inverse normal 0.05. That should give you 1.645. So that's our critical value. Then we're going to set up our confidence interval. It's 0.54 plus or minus the critical value, 1.645, times the square root of 0.54 times 0.46 over 1,748. And you can either crunch these numbers yourself, or you can let the calculator do it. And I'll show you that in just a second. Here is what we're going to do. So in your calculator, clear that out, stat, over to test, down, down, down to 1 proportion, Z interval. Hit enter. You put in your X value, which we figured out up here is 944. We put in our N, 1748. Our confidence level is 90, so 0.90, and calculate. And that tells us These two numbers, is if you were to actually crunch those numbers, you'd get those two answers. So the answer is 0.52044 for the lower bound, 0.55965 for the upper bound. So that's the answer to part C. Part D, we're going to do the same thing. Oops. So this time we're going to construct a 99% confidence interval for the exact same thing. The only thing that's different here is our critical value. So 99% confidence has a critical value of 2.58. And again, you can remember that, or you can look it up using the leftover. So alpha, the leftover here, is 1%. We cut that in half for each tail. That's 0.005. And then you do inverse normal of 0.005. All right, so everything's the same, 0.54 plus or minus. Instead of the 1.645, we're going to use 2.58. Square root of 0.54 times 0.46 over 1,748. I like to see this setup. You don't have to crunch the numbers yourself. You can let the calculator do it from there to get our answer. So again, stat over to test, down, down, down to 1 proportion z interval. X is the same, N is the same. The only thing that changes is we want 99% confidence. And there's our interval, 0.50934 to 0.57075. And then part E, what is the effect of increasing the level of confidence on the width of the interval? So, what we see here, here's our two intervals. This is about 52% to 56%. This is about 51% to 57%. And so what you should have noticed is that increasing the confidence level increases the width of the interval. Increasing the confidence level increases the width of the interval. So if you want to be more confident, you want bigger cushion.